Hey Funcom judges, Jako here with my submission for the Conan Exiles Temple Build Contest. So, I decided to go with a temple to Crom. Yes, how ironic. Anyways, I decided to kind of play and imagine what a structure that honored Crom would look like, and I came up with the Champion Pits of Crom. A Coliseum type build. Now, I am on PC, I did use admin commands and everything to get this done. I also have mods on here, you can find those, a list of those in the email. I would like to just say, the mod community for this game is absolutely amazing. I adore them. They take what is an already amazing game and turn it into something that is truly unique. And I really appreciate you, as Funcom, being able to allow us to use mods on PC for this contest. I think it's a great idea. Now, I am going to be adding commentary in as I go through this, explaining some of my ideas and everything. If you don't want that, just go ahead and mute it. I'm not going to be upset. Anyways, we start off with the grand entrance to the Champion Pits of Crom. And as we come through the main gate, we are greeted by the Causeway of Heroes. Here we have statues to the truly great heroes of the Hyborian Age. The closest thing Crom would have to avatars in this world. We also have some trophies here of dragons that have been slain, more than likely by our great Conan himself. As we come through the gates to the Colosseum itself, we are greeted by more trophies and ushered into the fight pit itself, where we can see a couple combatants getting ready for their bout. Now, we know that this is either a practice bout or these are unknown combatants because there are no audience members, no fans in the seats. And as you can see, in the seats, we have nice little places for them to sit, but mostly it's area for them to stand and yell and shout. And, well, the dull murmur of the crowd between bouts is interesting. The audience does have a place to go to enjoy those times in the coolness of a bar, where they can drink, they can carouse. Although this bartender looks utterly bored today. We have a mixologist who is cooking up concoctions for the fans to make the excitement even that more exciting, and some dancers to entertain the crowds. They must be practicing their moves, since there are currently no crowds. Now, a temple to Crom would not be complete without the Riddle of Steel, a place for the creation of the weapons and armor that epitomize the worship of Crom himself, a deity that cares nothing for you, but is all about war, battle, and conquest. And here we have the forges, the furnaces, and all the accoutrements to make those weapons. Speaking of those weapons, around the base of the pit here, we do have examples of the weapons and armor that our combatants could be using, or that the crowd can throw into the pit if anyone loses their weapons. And that brings us to the Sanctum, the place where the combatants for any bout will pay tribute to the closest thing to an avatar on this plane of existence that Crom has. Yes, Conan himself. We see tribute jars, we see the spoils of war, and we see the banners of the current Grand Champion of the Pits. Now, before a bout begins, each of the combatants have a place to rest, to gear up, to prepare themselves for the blood and carnage to come. Each of them have weapons and armor to choose from of a variety, as well as spoils of war to look through to remind them why they do this. Each of the little combatant rooms is a little bit different. Different armor, different trophies, different weapons, but still a place of respite for the combatants themselves. And as we head up, we can find the place where the current 5 champions of the Champion Pits of Crom will watch the bouts. They have their own ring of spectating, as well as their champion thrones. Here they can sit and gaze into the pit as blood and offal are spilled on their behalf. Maybe one day they'll be in the pit fighting one of these champions. Doubtful. Each of them have their own banner depicting who they are and their status, as well as places for refreshments. Their serving people are not here yet. There is no battle worthy of their presence currently. But each of the combatants also has their own home within the champion pits. Here we have the green champion, who greets followers, fanatics, fans, and all that from their throne upon their area. Their banners are here, their preferred weapons and their preferred armor are all within easy reach, as well as their most prized and treasured conquests hidden away inside the chests. Now this is the champion's home. They are so devoted to Crom that they will call this Colosseum their home. And this champion is sporting a horticulture and alchemy room with some taxidermy conquests of their own exploits. We have potion concoctions, we have strange artifacts, we have the jack-o'-lantern, because I am Jako, and it has to be there, and some mythological creature, maybe still alive, maybe stuffed, hidden behind the brambles in the corner. Moving on from the green champion, we find ourselves in the presence of a true barbarian, a true lover of the macabre, of the grotesque in the brown champion. This champion has guards sporting Hycerian raider armor. They have their favorite weapon, a severed human leg, as well as bone and leather armor, and a cudgel made of more bone. Now, this habit doesn't stop outside. We have bone and skulls decorating their room. They surround themselves with the flayed remains, the flayed trophies of anything they have killed, as well as a good stock of meat. Can't go to battle on an empty stomach after all. Now, we're going to skip over the Grand Champion and come to them last. So we're going to race around past the thrones of the champions to the Blue Champion, a cultured champion sporting Aquilonian armor on their guards, sporting the blue banner, and a greatsword, champion's armor, and a trident of sickly proportions. Within their room, we find a true bibliophile, a person absolutely in love with knowledge. We have grand maps, so maybe they're planning conquests. We have dispatch letters to summon armies, as well as an impressive collection of scrolls to enlighten them in the ways of war. Moving along from the blue, we come to the final of the four lower champions. The red champion, decked out in their cat symbol, their banner, and sporting trophies of many different cats. We have them dressed in the finest Lemurian royal outfit, with beautiful armor, heavily engraved, as well as a glowing sword and a trident for their fights. Inside, we find a true connoisseur of that line between pain and pleasure. Their entire room is decked out in St. Andrew's crosses, in whipping benches, in Iron Maidens, a true devotee of the pain pleasure line, as well as someone who really enjoys their cats. This torturing bench to make sure that all of their tools are proper for the job at hand. And that brings us to our Grand Champion, the closest thing to an avatar of Crom outside of Conan that this world has seen at this current time, at least in their own mind. And that is the Purple Banner. We have a great dragon head, their guards decked out in barbarian outfits, and a great axe to cleave apart their enemies. Now, their own attire is a little understated, but their armor is no less than Hyperion barbarian armor. Very beautiful. We also have a sword for when things need to get close and personal. And inside their room, we see nothing more than the conquests of a conqueror, the trophies that have been taken off the field of battle, of many battles, trophies of nations that have been conquered and put to the sword. Treasure abounds in the Grand Champion's home. Now, no home of great champions would be complete without a place for respite, a place to cleanse the dirt and blood and guts and offal of the battlefield that they are sure to have covering them after a great bout. And that brings us to the champions' pools. Here we see even more conquests, trophies of conquest in the dancers of many different societies, of many different realms, as well as hot springs for the champions to indulge in, to cleanse their body of the grime of battle. A beautiful, marble-inspired hot springs, lorded over by none other than the great Conan himself. And there you have it, the champion pits of Crom. And to finish out the tour, we're going to take a look at the pits at nighttime. We're going to go ahead and ghost up through and take a look at the Colosseum itself, glowing bright so that a fight can happen no matter what time of day. And as we fade back, we see the towers of the champions lording over the common people and the great entrance causeway. So, thank you, Funcom, for putting on this absolutely amazing temple build contest. I had an absolute pleasure going through and building this temple to Crom, a place where the true spirit of battle can be displayed in full. Again, I appreciate this. Thank you. And I hope that all the builds are absolutely wonderful. Have a great day.